What is up, bros and broettes? I'm Inkslasher, and today we're going to be talking about the MP40, specifically the MP40 in Call of Duty World War II. And what we're going to be doing for this series is, about a week ago, I asked you guys when I was talking about divisions if you guys liked the historical facts in the videos, and you guys overwhelmingly said yes, you liked it. You thought it made the videos a little bit more interesting. So what we're going to be doing with all of the weapons that we know about in Call of Duty World War II is I'll be making a video on them, talking about the historical facts behind them, talking about other Call of Duty games they've been in, and talking about the possible stats that we're going to be looking at in Call of Duty World War II itself. And today, we're starting with the MP40. And just to let you guys know, since I am doing a little bit of a new thing with this video, if you guys do enjoy the video, like what you see, and want to see more videos like this, the way to show me is by hitting that like button, because the more likes this video gets, the more likely I am to continue on with this series and do more videos like this for you guys. Now, the MP40 was developed in Germany and extensively used by the Axis powers during the Second World War. It was developed in 1938 and produced between 1940 and 1945, and as you can tell by those numbers, it was basically, in a sense, produced simply for World War II. Now, the interesting thing about this weapon is it used the 9x19mm Parabellum cartridge. Now, the round I'm talking about you can see on screen right here. Now, this was also known as the 9mm NATO or 9mm Luger round, and you may recognize that name because the Luger is actually a pistol that was used extensively during World War II. The reason why it's called this is this round was invented by a guy named George Luger. Now, he is also the guy who made the Luger pistol, hence the name the 9mm Luger round. The interesting thing about this round is it is the world's most popular handgun and submachine gun cartridge. In fact, even till this day, 60% of police officers in the United States still use this type of round in their weapons. Now, I do have to mention that this weapon was predominantly used by German soldiers. However, often in World War II, if an Allied soldier was to kill a German soldier, they would often pick up their weapons. That's why you see many pictures with American or British soldiers using an MP40 or a Luger or something along those lines. It's because they actually picked that up off of a dead body. Now, more relating to Call of Duty World War II, the MP40 was mainly used by infantrymen, paratroopers, platoon and squad leaders. Now, as we know, in Call of Duty World War II, the only division that's actually going to be able to use the MP40 is the Airborne Division, because in Call of Duty World War II, the Airborne Division is kind of like the SMG division, if you want to look at it like that. So the MP40, it actually kind of makes sense, since mainly paratroopers and infantrymen actually use this weapon. It makes sense for the Airborne Division to be the ones who get to use this weapon. Now, on top of that, there are actually two main variants of the MP40 during World War II. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because this is actually something we may see in Call of Duty World War II, the game. The first of which is the MP40I, or the MP40/1. Now, this is the first variant of the weapon, and what they did with this is they wanted to make it so the MP40 had a larger magazine, but couldn't do so with one magazine. So what did they do? They modified the weapon so that you were actually able to put two magazines in it at once. The reason why they wanted to do this is because the Allies were using a gun called the PPSH. This weapon had a larger magazine, and they wanted to be able to combat that by giving the MP40 a larger magazine. So as you can see on screen here, this is the MP40 with two magazines put in it. It's not a round drum magazine like we saw in Call of Duty World at War, but this gives it a larger magazine. This is definitely something we could see as an attachment in Call of Duty World War II. And by no means am I saying that I think there's going to be weapon variants in the game, but what I do think is that there's going to be weapon kits, similar to Modern Warfare Remastered, that actually change the visual aspects of the weapon itself. Speaking of which, this actually existed during World War II. There was a weapon known as the MP41. It was supposed to be like the next variation of the MP40, and basically all they changed is they made an MP40 with a wooden stock. It didn't change the way the weapon worked, and in fact there was very little distribution of this weapon. In fact, the only people who actually had this weapon were the SS police force, and on top of that, the Germans that were in Romania. That's it. Those were the only people that got the MP41 during World War II. And now that we know the history of the MP40 in real life, let's look at the history of the MP40 in Call of Duty. And yes, who would have guessed? Call of Duty isn't real life. So the first Call of Duty game to actually have the MP40 was the very first Call of Duty, Call of Duty 1. And after that, it was also in Call of Duty 2 and Call of Duty 3. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any gameplay of that simply because I couldn't find a lobby in any of those games, but the first game that had it after those was Call of Duty World at War, another Call of Duty game to take place during World War II. Now, as everyone knows who played Call of Duty World at War, the MP40 was an absolute god gun. Now, personally, I believe the main reason why this weapon was so good in World at War is because there was very few fully automatic weapons in World at War. Most of the assault rifles you would use in that game were semi-automatic. However, the MP40 was a 3 to a 4 bullet kill without stopping power. If you were to use stopping power, it would be a 2 to a 3 bullet kill. But not only that, if you were not using stopping power, you could use Juggernaut, a perk that would actually give you more health. And on top of that, there was more headshot damage in Call of Duty World at War than we're used to in Call of Duty games nowadays. Therefore, if you were to get simply one headshot, all of a sudden, anywhere on the map without stopping power, the MP40 would be a 2 bullet kill. On top of that, the MP40 also had very little hip spread, which means even if someone was 50 meters away from you, you could simply fire from the hip and probably kill them in 2 to 3, sometimes only 4 bullets. And when we look at the rest of the SMGs in World at War, most of the other SMGs would go all the way up to a 5 bullet kill. Meanwhile, the MP40 is sitting there at a 2 to a 4 bullet kill, depending on whether or not you're getting a headshot, without stopping power. On top of that, since you don't need to use stopping power with this weapon, you could use Juggernaut, giving yourself more health, dealing more damage, not having to aim down sights. It was a really damn good weapon, and very overpowered, as considered by many people. Now, after that, the MP40 was really not in a Call of Duty game for quite a while. It was in Black Ops 1 in one campaign mission, and on top of that in Zombies in Black Ops 2. However, in multiplayer, it was not in Call of Duty for a long time, until Sledgehammer's first game, Advanced Warfare. Now, I should mention that in Advanced Warfare, this weapon wasn't originally in the game. It was added as a supply drop weapon, a weapon you could only get through supply drops. Now, this was added on September 29th, 2015 for the Xbox, and on PC and PS4 added on October 29th, but this weapon just wasn't nearly as good as it was in Call of Duty World at War. In fact, in this game was considered one of the worst SMGs in the game, especially when you had it compared against an SMG like the ASM-1, which by many was considered overpowered in Advanced Warfare. Now, remember how I was saying that in World at War, this weapon was a 3 to a 4 bullet kill? Well, in Advanced Warfare, the MP40 was a 3 to a 6 bullet kill. That being said, it had a much faster fire rate than it did in Call of Duty World at War. But there was no ridiculous head damage multipliers like there were in World at War, and on top of that, there was no stopping power, there was no Juggernaut, and all in all, the MP40 in Advanced Warfare was nowhere near as good as it was in World at War. And like I said, instead of a 3 to a 4 bullet kill, it was a 3 to a 6 bullet kill. Now, once again in Black Ops 3, the MP40 was not originally in Black Ops 3. However, on March 21st, 2016, the MP40 was added, not named the MP40, but rather the HG40, a futuristic version of the MP40. Now, personally, I believe that in Black Ops 3, the HG40 was a little bit better than it was in Advanced Warfare, but still nowhere near as good as in World at War. In this game, it was a 3 to a 5 bullet kill with a much slower fire rate than either World at War or Advanced Warfare. So overall, basically what they made was a slow-firing, mediocre damage weapon out of the HG40. Now, the one thing that I should mention is that this weapon in Black Ops 3 has the longest 3-bullet kill range out of any of the SMGs. However, there are assault rifles with much longer 3-bullet kill range. It's the longest SMG 3-bullet kill range. And then we have Call of Duty World War II. So this was one of the weapons that people were able to get their hands on during E3, and a lot of people actually posted gameplay to YouTube. Now, I wasn't one of the people to actually go out to E3, but I've analyzed a lot of people's gameplay, and basically from what I've seen, this weapon appears to be a 3 to a 5 bullet kill with about a 600 RPM fire rate. This is similar to what we've seen in pretty much every Call of Duty game that the MP40 has been in, so it's going to be somewhere around then. But let me tell you, it's a little bit too early to say this is what the weapon stats are going to be. Even if I was to take the gameplay, slow it down, find out the exact fire rate, the exact bullets to kill, it still would kind of be pointless, because by the time the game actually comes out, by the time the beta even comes out, the stats may be completely different. But based off of what I've seen from the gameplay, it looks like a 3 to a 5 bullet kill at about a 600 RPM fire rate, which is actually a pretty good SMG compared to other Call of Duty games. Now, the one thing that I will say is, since this weapon was so good in Call of Duty World at War, it seems like since then, the developers have kind of been wary to actually make it too good, because even if it was a good weapon, people would think it would be overpowered like it was in World at War. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with this weapon come Call of Duty World War II. Speaking of which, Did you guys enjoy this video? Did you like what you saw? If you did, it would be fantastic if you could hit that like button to let me know that you want to see more videos just like this one. The question I have for you guys is, did you guys like the historical facts at the beginning of the video? Do you want to see more videos like this? Let me know down in the comments. And then if you do want to see more videos, let me know which weapon you'd like to see me look at next down in the comments. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy, feel free to hit that subscribe button as I upload new Call of Duty videos every single day of the week. And thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
Now I'm finally right here with you.